Why you don't need to be a high achiever. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Jess Go. I'm the sole founder of Life in Confidence. Are you addicted to being super busy all the time? Do you struggle to get a break from life? Is it a choice that you make? So here's the thing. I used to be like that person. And what I've learnt through burnt out and spinning my wheels by doing all of these things, it didn't get me very far in life, especially with my health and my mental health. And what has enabled me to start to shift this pattern was to see the lessons through those experiences where I was burning myself to the ground just to make a buck. And this root cause of the high achiever is to do with being romanticized, idolized, sexualized, or rejected by the opposite sex parent, which you can learn more in my free webinar, How to Overcome the Impacts of Childhood Traumas in 3 Months, which you can click on the link below. And through this trauma, that what we've learnt is that it doesn't feel safe to be emotionally vulnerable. We do not see the value in our heart space, but in the material world, trying to make things happen, trying to make the next buck, trying to build a reputation. All of these things to keep up with the Joneses or to be seen as this incredible entrepreneur, right? That is successful, thriving, has it all. And the thing is that when we build this trap of wanting to have it all, we lose ourselves throughout the whole process when we don't address the conditioning that has enabled us to set up this trap of spinning our wheels and finding ourselves into burnt out after burnt out after burnt out, until you are shown that it's time to go inward, not outward anymore. And that's exactly what has happened to me, where in my early 20s, I was 22 at the time, where my dad passed away. I was helping my mum to pay for the mortgage by getting any job that I can. And I was trying to figure out, how can I financially support her and me? And that's when I started to get into investment property. At the age of 27, I had 2 positive cash flow investment properties, and I self-sabotaged it by selling it and received 6 figures in my bank account and blowing it into a dress business that didn't bring me a return on my investment at all. I had to donate all of the stock to a women's charity because I couldn't sell it. I did not have the customer base to do it. I did it from a place of ego. I wanted to be seen as this big success because I struggled to validate and see my own self-worth. I was constantly burnt out. I had even up to 3 interns at one point working for me. And I just was burning through the cash by buying different stocks of dresses just to try and keep something new and fresh. But I just did not have the customer base to make it work for me. And I was deeply disappointed in myself that I failed. But failure is when you give up. And so when I gave up on my dress business, I realized it didn't give me joy. I was only doing it because I wanted to be a big shot millionaire like this chick who's been successful at it as a self-made millionaire in the space. And I thought I could do it too. I could do it too. If I could get 2 investment positive cash flow properties at 27, then I can be a self-made millionaire through a dress business. And boy, was I wrong, because that was my ego tricking me. And it comes from a place of greed, scarcity, not feeling enough. And when I hit rock bottom financially at the age of 29, where I only had $100 left in my bank account, I had no choice but to go onto welfare payments so I can pay for the rent in a place that I hated sharing with other people, and a landlord that was on my back. And so through there, I was able to discover myself again. And it wasn't easy, because the situation I set up for myself, this trap of being a high achiever, to be a big shot, it forced me to go inward and have a good look at myself. And since then, that's when I really taken off my healing journey. And even though I was already on a healing journey prior to that, but after that rock bottom experience, it really opened up my eyes what I did to myself, that I was a slave to money. And I see that, how that shows up in my trauma recovery business. And I learned from the burnout, and I'm getting better at it by finding balance and stillness in my presence and not getting caught up so much with other people's problems and traumas. The last burnt out that I've experienced was when I was in Japan running my weekend workshop and servicing private clients in Tokyo and online. And I was so burnt out. There was so much negative energy that I took on in the culture that I wasn't used to experiencing, this suppressed anger that I felt with strangers around me, and feeling distress in how to get around because everything was in Japanese and my global roaming wasn't working. So I had to learn to plan where I need to go in advance. And I didn't give myself permission to rest and cancel clients and turn away clients and say, no, I can't fit you in because I need a day off. And I didn't get sleep for 4 days because of the place I was staying was so loud from the karaoke. So when I hit rock bottom there, to the point where, oh, this is not good. If I keep going at this rate, I think I'll be in hospital. So when I finally listened to myself, it took me a while to finally listen and stop serving others, that I'm strong and I got it all, when deep inside I didn't. I was just putting this tough exterior to avoid emotional vulnerability and connecting with myself, that I'm weak because I'm sick. And when I found myself through emotional vulnerability, I need to practice that, because that's what my work is about. And I had to share with my clients, I'm sorry, I have to cancel your sessions. I've got my cycle, I'm burnt out, I'm sick, I've got headaches, I'm experiencing fever, coughing, I lost my voice, I'm in a lot of aches and pains throughout my whole body, I haven't slept for 4 nights. And since then, it took me at least 1 month to recover from that burned out. And what I've learned was the importance of listening to my emotional vulnerability, what I'm capable of, and the capacity of my capabilities, and to honor that. So if this sounds like you, then I've got some tips for you to help you with this. First of all, where in your life can you start to slow down? Where can you take back some time for yourself to find balance in your work schedule? Can you take 1 day off a week and then build it up to 2 days off a week? Could you sleep early at night? Could you outsource a task to someone or automate a task through a system to save you time and energy? Perhaps you need to raise your prices to maximize your time for money. So start looking in ways that there are things that's consuming your time that's not worth your time. How can you create more space? Where can you take more days off to find balance? How can you engage more in self-care to slow down? So that's the first thing, is finding ways to slow down and delegate or automate. The second thing is, whenever you experience the slowness of the pace, I invite you to journal. What's showing up for you? Do you find yourself the need to be busy? Do you find yourself that it's hard to be still? Do you find that you need to engage in activity? Journal what shows up for you. And then when you start engaging, let's say, an activity because you're addicted to being busy, what if you can switch the work activity into an activity that nourishes your mind, body, and soul, such as having a hot bath with Epsom salts and essential oils, or getting a massage, or walking barefoot in the park or along the beach to bring yourself back into your senses, into your element. Whether it's doing some Tai Chi to bring yourself back into your presence, to slow down your energy and movement, or Yin Yoga to release any stress, meditation, all of these things. You can engage in those activities and just start journaling what shows up for you in these activities and see if you can be consistent and see what else shows up. Maybe you might experience a shift. Maybe you feel the same. And if you do feel the same, then you're welcome to change up your self-care ritual. And maybe you want to be consistent with your self-care ritual and just be patient in how you show up. So that's the second thing, is journal what's showing up for you as you slow down, so you can monitor your thoughts, your experiences, and the need to do something to validate your self-worth in the world. As you slow down, you're inviting softness into your armoring of being perfect, this high achiever. You're melting away things, thoughts, and tasks that you don't need to engage in anymore as you start to discover the true essence of yourself. And the third thing is, how can you start feel safe and comfortable with your emotional vulnerability? Even if your ego perceives it as weak, how can you learn to be more comfortable? What has really helped me with this is seeking a highly experienced coach, mentor, or guide who has walked through your shoes and understand the addiction of being busy, understand the emotional vulnerability that shows up for you when you want to disconnect because it just feels so foreign and weird and weak. How can we start shifting your experience of emotional vulnerability as a place of strength and courage and authenticity to be true to yourself and not to fit into the matrix? I highly recommend hiring a coach, therapist, guide, mentor who is successful in this. And if you would like to dive deeper with me, I invite you to join me for my full moon ancestral trauma clearing circle via Zoom, where you can start rewrite your history and programming around your addictions to being busy and work. You can learn more or book a ticket in the link below. I am also running my new moon divine abundance circle and ceremony, which helps you to expand your mindset, your energetics, your emotions around money and wealth, and how you can form a spiritual relationship with money and material things instead. Perhaps there's blockages, there's distortions or beliefs that's in the way. So if you like to learn more about that or book yourself a spot via Zoom or at my place in Bondi Beach, please click on the link below. And lastly, if you are ready to live a life beyond trauma, join me for my Transforming Trauma 2-day workshop that I'm running in Sydney, interstate, and overseas. You can click on the link below to learn more. You can book a ticket because I only limit to 8 people maximum per workshop for a sacred and intimate experience. And you can also book in a free clarity call to see if this is right for you. If you have any questions, hesitations, concerns, or if you're required to be on a payment plan, I'm happy to work with you around that. So my love, if you got something out of this, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So this helps me to share my messages around the world. And please like this video, comment below, and share it with your loved ones who are in need of it the most. There you have it, my love. May you embrace and honor your emotional vulnerability so you can be the light that's in your heart.